Everyone, Coach Sullivan here again with MGS Coaching Football. To my subscribers, I thank you, and to non-subscribers, I really hope you do. I just completed my 38th year coaching football as a defensive coordinator, but over that span, I've also been an offensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, longtime head coach, and all of this at both the collegiate and high school levels. So what I'd like to talk to you about today is what we call an introduction to our dog family, okay? It's a Blitz concept, okay? So 3-4 intro to the dog family Blitz concept, all right? So I'll get to this diagram momentarily. I want to go through all these key terms first. But what I am going to tell you is I'm not planning on getting into all the different types of dog blitzes we have. I will go over one example here we call 50 Dime Dog Trio, all right, just to emphasize a lot of the key terms. But other than that, you'll have to make sure you're a subscriber. So push that button on subscribers, right? It's free, so you can have access to all the dogs in the dog family playlist, okay, on the whiteboard. So first of all, what is a D-crash? Well, first of all, that's the dog. And what a D-crash is it's the outside both force and cage blitzer. Okay, so run, the dog D-crash has force, pass, the D-crash has outside cage, which is contained. Okay, so that will impact the landmarks. They're going to be much deeper because this is the force and the cage defender all wrapped into one. Okay, that therefore means that the D-crash, the dog, is the boot defender. On action away, the dog plays for the boot. Okay? Well, if there is a running back who peels, well, like if it's speed option, he's got pitch, he peels off with it. Same thing in the pass game. Okay? So that's the primary here. This is big. A D-crasher is a whole different aiming point and technique, which I'm not necessarily going to go over in great detail, but I'll give you some exposure to it when I go through the one example, okay? What's meant by a C-scrape? Well, that's the first inside linebacker, just in case we're in a 3-linebacker front that we do have. So it's what we say is the first inside linebacker of call side, okay? You are going to read the offensive tackle and go butt side. So I will show you that when I go through the example here on Dime Dog. The Lucky Ringo goes to either the named dog blitzer or the position dog blitzer. Okay, so we have both like we do in our other families. Okay, so as an example, the named dog is the dime. So the dime makes the Lucky Ringo. Okay, so that's how that works. The concept of 4 off a side. Okay, we have 4 defenders attacking one side of the football. Okay, so when I go through this, I'll show you how we accomplish getting 4 off the side. Right, that's unique in this Blitz family. Okay, consequently, when we go to what we call a stick tag, so dog stick, it's the same stick tag we utilize in our Go and Combo family. So, non-subscribers, push the button. Right now, the DN call side sticks A, which bumps the nose A away. So why would we do that? You'll have to make sure you're a subscriber so you can see this on another presentation in the playlist. Right, so now for us, in this concept, the A-gap defenders, whoever they're going to be, are playing for the draw. They are draw defenders. So I think you can see where this is headed if you haven't snuck a peek already. The B and C gap defenders have what we call running back sift for the screen. You know, the running back inserts in protection, but really not. It's just a way to hide and then sifts out for the screen. Whoever our B and C gap defenders are, they're looking for that. Because A, B, and C gap defenders, this is a pass situation. Okay, that's what I was referencing And I said, I think I can see where this is. Yeah, we primarily, not only, but primarily call a dog blitz in a pass situation, which it could be for some, right? 2nd and 9. For another offense, it may not be a pass situation tendency, right? But we also will utilize it sometimes as a little changeup for zone read or an RPO. Okay, so I have used the dogs at times as a changeup for a zone read or an RPO. Different look, different read. Okay. And then finally down here, what we call stick ball tag, stick ball. Okay, so that combines the same stick plus an inside linebacker opposite the call, delay plugs B gap. And why it's a delay plug in the B gap, when I show you momentarily the 50 dime dog trio as an example of this Blitz family introduction, it'll bring in what the opposite side DN does, which would help explain why the opposite linebacker plugs B gap in a delay. Okay? So what I have here illustrated is I don't have a complete offensive formation, right? But what I have are defined gaps for you. Okay? So A, B, C, D, because there's a tight end, A, B, C, and then how we determine D gap when there is not a tight end, right? See, there's an open end there, whether two's removed or it's a singles, wide receiver, whatever it is, okay? So what I also have here is our defense set up in a base shell, right? 2 safeties, 2 corners, attached outside linebacker, detached outside linebacker, 2 inside, 3 down linemen. Okay? Why am I doing all this? Because it's going to help and teach you how we teach the dog family. Okay? So, first of all, the only 2, okay, in our base, 2 linebacker set, the only 2 C-scrape defenders are our Mike and backer. Okay, I'm not planning on bringing in any of our 3 linebacker sets, which are still odd fronts. Okay, but just remember the rule for C-scrape. First inside linebacker call side, so this is kind of your answer, right? In our normal 3-4 looks, even other fronts, these are the only 2 C-scrapers. And so the codes are for the Mike, M, Michigan, for the backer, B, Buffalo. When they're part of the blitz, we should be hearing them saying either Michigan or Buffalo. Okay? In this large circle, looks like a big U almost, right? Or a smile, however you want to look at it. These defenders, these 6, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they are all potential dog defenders. D-crash dog defenders. So now think about it from an offensive standpoint. All right? 6 different guys could be the ones coming hard up off the edge in a pass situation. 2 other guys could be coming up through the C gap. That's 8 guys, right? Again, post-snap, offenses have to figure this out. So we don't help them when we don't have to by not changing it. We never change our alignment, but we don't help them when we don't have to by hedging or creeping. If it's a linebacker, we call it a hedge. DBs, we call it a creep. Okay, so there are occasions when you got a single width formation and the corner's already there and he can just go without moving. Or ball's on the hash and it's so condensed into the boundary, again, he doesn't have to creep. So there are situations and instances where that happens. Other situations, you have to join non-subscribers to learn how we teach our corners and safeties how to use the creep technique. Okay? So that's huge. So again, these 6 are the potential dog defenders. These 2 are our C-scrape defenders. All right? So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to show you how this all comes together by giving you what we call a 50 dime dog with a trio. And again, I'm not going to worry about the offense. Don't care about the offense right now. I care about teaching you the basic introduction, how the dog family works. Okay? So in this particular case, since it's a dime dog, right? This is, excuse me. This is a named dog blitzer, right? Lucky Rindo, named dog. Dime is the dog. Okay? So for us, and this is why I'm choosing to show you this one, we do not have, in this case, the dime coming off the butt of the tackle. No. See, C-gap starts on the outside of the tackle. That's the C-scrapes landmark, his aiming point. Okay? So we define it as it's 2 yards outside the tackle. Okay? 2 yards outside the tackle. So the only other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a running back and pistol so I can show you, excuse me, first level landmark and now second level landmark. Okay? So now, right now, we're talking about the dog blitzer. So first of all, that's second level aiming point is the deepest hip in the backfield. Remember, he's got force if it's run. He's got cage for contain. He's got a peel with the back if the back flares. So if his is the deepest hip, that's his aiming point. And if the back were someplace else, the deepest hip would change. But we're going to keep that hip for now. Okay? So that builds in the first level aiming point. So all we say is, okay, you're detached because there is no tight end there. There's going to be a 2 removed. So your aiming point is, we just try to get them to visualize it. 2 yards outside the tackle. So snap of the ball. That's his course. Okay, I'm not the best drawer. And then the course continues. The D crash. The dog. Deepest tip in the backfield is the final aiming point. And the hip's going to move, right? We know that. Okay, so there's number 1. Okay, so remember, 4 off a side. There's 1. Okay? So if it's run to him, he's got force. Run away. Boot. So now if the run goes away, he's playing for the quarterback boot. He's playing for the boot. And if it's pass, again, cage, peel the running back. Okay? All right. Next one, C-scrape. Here's the first inside linebacker. So now, right, this was Ringo. Since it's trio, I'll just tell you this. This would be a Roger to get the safety spinning. So all I'll do is this. The safety spin in the direction of the blitz post-snap. Okay? So now, since the C-gap begins on the outside of the tackle, and this isn't a read, this is on the snap, go, as if you were scraping to C-gap, because that's normally a gap in base defense. That's the landmark. That's the C-scrape. Right? So landmark is the outside edge of the tackle. Now you're going to read that tackle. And if the tackle were to try and block out, you go butt side. That's the butt side. Okay? But that's also why the D-gap landmark is 2 yards outside. And I'll just show you how that plays out over here just with these 2 guys. That's all we need. Okay? So now, there's number 2. And then on just a straight dog, dime dog like that, DN call side, slanting in the B, nose, slant A to the call. Number 3, number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 off the side. There it is. Okay? And what he does, they show pass. He has outside cage opposite. He's a running back too, so if the running back comes to him, he's got him. Running back goes away. Now he's playing for draw or mirror the quarterback. He becomes that A-gap defender. Remember? A-gap defenders. Draw. B, C-gap defenders. Running back sift. So these two guys, if the running back shows to them, they're playing for that screen. If the running back doesn't do that, they're getting after the quarterback. Again, assuming it's pass. Okay, so this is how the whole thing comes together. And so you got to walk through those scenarios with your kids in meetings and walkthroughs before you do a full speed, and included in that, showing them how the running back inserts, what a sift technique is in the screen. You got to teach them all these things. And I don't care how experienced they are or think they are. From day one, you do it. So you cover all your bases, cross the T's, dot the I's. So as a coach, you know you've taught your players the situation. Okay? So the last part of this that I want to share with you, because again, I don't want to go over stick balls and tags and all that stuff. You'll have to either hit the subscribe button, or if you already have, go to the playlist and watch it. Okay? Is how this changes for these two guys if there's a tight end. Okay? So because the D gap begins on the outside of the tight end and the C gap begins on the outside of the tackle, if this were a rover dog, excuse me. So the named, right? Excuse me, the named dog by position here, right? What he does is he goes up first and then into the backfield, because otherwise he's going to be a go defender and get beat too tight inside, not to mention that's his landmark. So because the tight end's most likely going to release, we want there to still be a collision. You're just not going to grab him and mug him like usual. Knock back, steer him outside, and then get on that course to the deepest tip. That's the difference in how it affects the landmark. Okay, we do not want, okay, so on a dog, I don't mug the guy. On this, I didn't. No, you always knock back. But on this one, when he releases outside, you're going to let him go, take another step, and then you're on a course to be at the deepest tip in the backfield. Okay, that's the little tweak. All right? So as I said at the beginning, to my subscribers, I thank you, and I hope I'm making the point to non-subscribers. Please just hit the button. It doesn't cost you a penny. Any questions to everyone, I hope you reach out to me, Coach MJSullivan@gmail.com. Starting to happen. When it does, I'm learning a ton, so let's keep that rolling. Again, a dog is a D crash, which is a much deeper aiming point. You got force on run, cage on pass, peel with the back to you. You play the boot, right? C scrape, head to the outside tackle. He's going to go butt side of that tackle, and most of the time we see the tackle trying to block outside. So that brings him up into the technically the B gap, but it's a little bit wider. Okay? We bring 4 off the side unless it's a stick. We can add an extra blitzer when we go stick ball. That's a lot more pressure and stress on the offense. We have designated gap defenders for draw and the running back screen that can really get you, especially when you got a reputation like ours, which is a heavy pressure team. Okay, we place safe coverage behind it, but to also be safe, we designate defenders in these passing situation blitzes to account for the draw, to account for the screen, to account for the flare, which could be the blitz beater, right? I think that's important. So thank you for your time, and I look forward to hearing from you so we can talk football together.